A bloomin' good twist on fried chicken, salty shrimp, and beef that's made for that special batter. Outback Steakhouse's bloomin' onion is a world-famous dish, so utilizing it for other dishes is a no-brainer. But the question is, which bloomin' dish is the best? We'll start out by stating the somewhat obvious. If you like the seasoning on the bloomin' onion, you probably can't go too wrong with any of the bloomin' onion spin-offs.
What is that? Is that a bloomin' onion from Outback?
Yeah. You want some?
Yeah.
They all mimic the flavor or texture of the original, but to varying degrees of success. Though this bloomin' chicken sandwich entree has some highlights, it was our least favorite of the onion homages. The sandwich wasn't a total disaster. It remained juicy inside the breading, which can be difficult to do when you're mass-producing chicken sandwiches. The bun texture paired with the chicken and the fresh toppings, like house-made pickles and lettuce, had good contrast in each bite. The bloom sauce, which comes drizzled on the sandwich, added a kick of extra flavor. The major downfall here was that the piece of chicken was on the thinner side, which meant the ratio of breading to chicken tasted unbalanced. The seasoning overwhelmed the flavor of the chicken itself, so it felt like we were eating fried food inside a bun with decent toppings. If we ordered this again, we'd likely try the grilled version to see if the fried component was the major culprit. We ordered these bloomin' fried shrimp as an entree even though they're billed as an appetizer. We can see why Outback suggests sharing. Without lighter sides for some variety, these golden brown beauties can start to feel a little heavy after just a few. They also seem to be the saltiest out of the dishes we tried, contrasting the sweeter natural flavors of the shrimp. That said, these shrimp were perfectly tender on the inside and expertly fried for the satisfying crunch you know and love from the original onion coating. The end result was a crisp, succulent bite, which paired well with the accompanying bloom sauce. If we ordered these again, we would plan to share the plate as intended in the appetizer round, and likely choose between these or the onion. Outback calls this entree its twist on fried chicken, and it's not hard to see why. A boneless chicken breast is battered in the bloomin' onion seasoning and fried to golden perfection, then served with bloom sauce on the side and drizzled on top. When our entree arrived, the portion of chicken appeared very large. It looked to be a single chicken breast that was butterflied to maintain a fairly even thickness throughout. That resulted in an evenly cooked entree that remained juicy and flavorful. The chicken is a good complementary protein for the bloomin' onion batter in this case, since the portion is much larger than in the chicken sandwich. The spices and the seasoning are exactly what you'd expect from an onion spin-off and go well with the chicken. The outside was perfectly crisp, while the meat remained tender. For the amount of food you get with this entree and the quality of the main event, this felt like a great value despite it being the most expensive on our list of spin-offs. Of all the bloomin' onion spin-offs, the Bloomin Burger was by far our favorite. It consisted of a thick burger patty, cooked to order and topped with gooey American cheese, fresh toppings like house-made pickles, lettuce, tomato, and onion, then capped off with bloomin' onion petals and, of course, bloom sauce. The burger is the perfect vehicle for pairing with the bloomin' onion petals, in our opinion, because the savory beef complements the onion seasoning and contrasts the slight sweetness from the onion itself. The bloom sauce is a welcome creamy element to the party, and the other standard burger toppings lend a crisp freshness that add to the well-balanced result. It's a towering mouthful of food, but it's a great one each time. Unlike the other spin-offs, the burger patty isn't coated in the bloomin' onion breading. Burgers aren't a light meal on their own either, but the generous portion of fried onions on top gives it that extra pop of flavor without overwhelming the dish. If you're in the mood for a classic burger meal with a little bit of an Outback twist, this menu item should be ordered as is and enjoyed thoroughly. We arrived at Outback with one objective: to immerse ourselves in bloomin' onion goodness. With the spin-off menu items, we certainly accomplished that. Each item tasted at least in part like the famous onion appetizer, even if some of them were a little overwhelming. The dishes that celebrated those flavors the best were the chicken entree and the burger, which offered a good balance between the distinctive spices in the bloomin' seasoning and other elements on the plate. We likely wouldn't pair bloomin' appetizers with the entrees in the future. All of them can be delicious in their own ways, but when we had more than one bloomin' dish in the meal, it started to feel a bit heavy and one note in terms of flavor. Regardless of which bloomin' onion dish you order, plan to hydrate, since the seasoning is very salty. A standard bloomin' onion contains 4,930 milligrams of sodium, more than double the 2,300 milligrams per day recommended for adults by the FDA. The entrees were in the 1,300 to 3,000 milligram range, and the shrimp appetizer clocked in at a whopping 5,830 milligrams of sodium. Water's up, everyone! As an added bonus, we became new members of Outback's Dining Rewards program and got a free Bloomin' Onion appetizer. Diners simply sign up for the rewards program ahead of time and input basic contact information. Then their account is linked to rewards for all of the Bloomin' brands. Once you set up your account, you'll get a text or email that verifies you're eligible for a free Bloomin' Onion the next time you visit Outback. The server will take your phone number before preparing the check, and the appetizer is comped for you. We tried this out to test the process, and it was incredibly seamless.
Enjoy the rest of your Outback Steakhouse meal, Judy. Good eye.